Let's get ready to talk sports, entertainment, and innovation. It's time for C-Con Shorts.
The first episode of C-Con Shorts. Thank you for joining us today. We have an unbelievable crew of colleagues and friends and industry luminaries here to join us today. First, we have Dale Eales, Vice President of Development at Las Vegas Events. We have Jay Vickers, Chief Operating Officer for UNLV Sports Innovation Institute. We have Dr. Rodney Paul, Director, Sport Analytics Program and Professor at Falk College at Syracuse University. And lastly, we have Sean Garrity, CEO of Circle and Executive Producer for C-Con. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Adam Honig. I'll be hosting today's episode of C-Con Shorts. I'm a Syracuse alum and I'm working with the core founder team at C-Con and proud to be here today. First, want to introduce Sean Garrity to the program today. Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Adam. Really appreciate it. By the way, appreciate the great work you're doing, as a proud alum of SU and setting up our LinkedIn Sports Network. That's been an amazing endeavor. You put together some of the live events with the Chicago Cubs and some of the exciting things moving ahead. Very grateful to you and all the great things you have and continue to do for SU and certainly for Falk. Rodney, I don't want to put you on the hot seat, but as a C-plus student out of the School of Communications, how do you get that doctor tag? I never got that one. Was that a money thing, or did you actually earn that? What's your GPA on that thing?
Yeah, I guess not knowing enough at the time and just kind of pushing through to be able to do it when probably could have done something else better. But in the end, it all works out.
I never got to hang with the smart kids. I'm so happy to be on this call. Listen, no, very proud to have everybody on and really excited about C-Con. We think it's an important opportunity to do create some great opportunities and bring a lot of very diverse and dynamic communities together that really are moving towards the same endeavors. And to that point, had the pleasure of meeting Dale Eales several years ago on the festival lot, working with MGM, doing things like iHeart and Route 91 and some really cool events. And from minute one, you saw a great guy, wanted to know who you are, what you're about, what you care about, and very humble, despite doing some incredible things through his career. And Dale, as I called you with my Syracuse folks coming to town a few years back, as always, you picked up, very helpful. You were kind enough to host us and introduce us to this fine man, Jay Vickers. And just wanted to tap you in here to first thank you, as many of us in the industry would like to do, but taking the call, and I'll let you kind of talk about LVE and your role, but also as you brought Jay and our whole crew together. Thank you again for that.
Yeah, well, thanks, Sean. It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you guys for including me. Coming out here, I have had a great career at UNLV in terms of my academic, my experience at UNLV. I really appreciated that. I had a chance to work at the Thomas & Mack Center for 12 years, and that led into a role with Las Vegas Events the last, 18 years now. But Jay, prior, he was a student athlete playing football at Notre Dame. We connected. He was working in the athletic department, so his career was more in sports sponsorships, athletics. I was fortunate to be able to continue my career in Las Vegas. Jay bounced around a little bit, but we always stayed in touch. I think one of my gifts, just networking. I like people, and you just never know where you're going to go next. So Jay and I always stayed in touch, and it would be great when he popped back in and I'm like, where are you at now? And he's not with the athletic department at this. And at the time, he's doing some sports research, innovation. Anyway, Jay and I like getting together and just talk and share. We, understand what he's doing, understand what I'm doing. Sean, the same thing we were doing is just, you reach out. I don't say no. Not only you guys, but a lot of people who come into the market are a little bit lost. Our destination can be a little bit intimidating. When you come here with 150,000 hotel rooms, events going on every single weekend. So I love to meet with people and just kind of slow it down a little bit. And when you shared a little bit that I do have a passion for Syracuse, I was a big Syracuse basketball fan in the 80s. So the idea that here we are, UNLV connecting with Syracuse, I like this. Pleasure meeting Rodney on our first visit. But, when you guys were sharing all that, again, all I try to do is connect people. And I said, you know what? Jay's a good guy. I think this might be a fit. And,
Right.
let's connect with Jay. Maybe it's a fit, maybe it's not. But that's, this happens. And I'm just glad it worked out. Am I surprised? Not really, because I know the people involved. I knew everyone's going to get along, whether we're going to do business together and develop a major conference or we're just going to be friends. But I knew it would be worthwhile just to connect people.
No, that's great. And Jay, I know from the phone call you got, I know it's again a yes guy. That phone call didn't come at 9 a.m, as I recall. But I'd love for you just to kind of talk about your vision, UNLV's vision, really the city's vision, and how that brought us together. And again, it was such a special opportunity for us, and we're very grateful to have met you and made so many new friends with UNLV.
Yeah, absolutely. Dale is right. As our city is unique, is that we believe still in networking, right? I'm not saying that other cities do not, but we believe in friends. We believe in building long-term relationships that can have a positive impact on our community first and foremost. Not necessarily how it impacts your company or you individually, but how does it really impact our community? With that said, at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, our goal is, as a public institution, is how do we make an impact in workforce development? How do we answer the needs of our community? How do we listen to what's happening within our community, and how do we respond to those needs? When you think about economic diversification, the city of Las Vegas is going through what I would like to call the first sports renaissance we've probably seen in our generation. And with that said, is we've quickly become a sports and entertainment capital. And I think we're in a rocket ship to become the global sports and entertainment capital because of the people that are involved and are really excited about what we're trying to accomplish. And so our goal from a university standpoint is, what do we need to do to plant a flag for those to understand that we could become a hub, an intellectual hub for all those who are interested in sports, research, and innovation. And one of the first things we did is we contacted our community partners, people like Dale, people like Lawrence Epstein of UFC, and our Raiders and our Golden Knights and others, and said, hey, what do we need to see what that flag is? Lawrence was the first one to step up and say, hey, we need to make sure that people understand that there's an intellectual property here on how to do business, how to run events, how to run corporations in sports and entertainment. And that vision and those ideas need to be shared broadly. And the best way to do that is through a conference. And first, kind of patting ourselves on the back and understanding how that works. Now, when you hear the word conference, like most people, they're like, well, that's a heavy lift. The good thing is how do we make this lift happen through collaboration? We're all sports guys, and we understand that to win a championship, we have to pull together a great team. What I didn't know at the time was that team was on the East Coast. And thanks to Dale introducing me to Sean Garrity of Circle, who understands this community, and also being a former athlete himself at the prestigious Syracuse University, networking and making sure that others can say, look, let's work together in building something, not only for our own respective universities, but for the sports ecosystem. And that sports ecosystem goes beyond just training, passing out resumes, but understands the true business of sports and entertainment. How do we get our students to be involved? How do we get researchers and innovators to be involved? And how do we find the world's biggest thought leaders to share their vision and share their thoughts? First, starting with the alums of Syracuse and alums of UNLV, but also some of the, in my personal opinion, some of the biggest thought leaders of sports and entertainment, from UFC, the Raiders, Las Vegas Events, LVCVA. We've done things here in this community and our city that just doesn't happen overnight, which is people came together and said, hey, we have a goal, and our goal is to be the #1 sports and entertainment destination in the world. And we're quickly becoming that. And through CCON, we have the ability to not only showcase that, but also showcase the strengths of Syracuse University and the Falk College, as well as UNLV and Sports Innovation Institute.
Jay, listen, again, everything that you're doing, everything you're doing with sports innovation with your team, with Dr. Lowe and Bo, and just some amazing people is, I think it's going to yield amazing results. But, as a humble guy, as Dale mentioned, first generation out of Tallahassee, high honor student, could have gone anywhere, Stanford, Michigan, you name it, certainly the Florida State, I think they're in your neighborhood, but going to South Bend and the experiences that you had there as a top level athlete, student, and just a great citizen, as you know. What's really in our heart is we, really segue a bit to Rodney and to Falk as you. We all have the same thing in our hearts. It's about the students, number one. It's about their experience. It's empowering and giving more resources to our faculty to enhance that overall engagement and to bring more research sources to give more availability and opportunity. And Jay, you've always had the right word. It's really about exclusion. It's the war against exclusion in all respects, and I think it's very important work. So we're certainly proud to be a part of it. And as I introduce in Rodney, I've had the privilege of being on the Falk advisory board for about 14 years now, and Rodney is really lightning in a bottle, and we're so proud of what Falk is about. But I want to introduce in Dr. Rodney Paul, and love you to tell more about Falk and some of the programs you're involved in, if you could, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sean, and thanks everyone for this. It's really an amazing time, and it's super exciting being able to look forward to everything that we're talking about today, looking forward to July. Within Falk, I basically was brought in about 11 years ago and wound up being able to start this sport analytics program, really the first of its kind in the country. And in being able to do that, bringing together, unique elements of math and coding and a variety of different things that relate to sports, have been able to attract just an unbelievable student population. Just, terrific trip out to Las Vegas, and was over visiting with our people at the Raiders, alumni that we have there. And on the walk back, I was with our Dean of Advancement, Dave Salinger, and I was joking with him saying that I really want to open up an SU Vegas campus. That was kind of my goal at the time, was to be able to be like, this is where sports is at. I know we have places in New York that we have the relationship with, and Los Angeles that we have relationships with, but being at both of those, it didn't compare to what it felt like in Las Vegas, that this is going to be the center of sports, not just in the country, but I think in the world. And in wanting to be a part of that was being like, how can we get our students to be able to get that exposure? Because if this is where it's going to be, wanted to be able to get a foothold within that. And it really just started with a conversation with Sean as to, can we do something to be able to expose what our students can do to people? Maybe take on projects, have some kind of course where people would meet for a weekend in Vegas and attack some kind of problem. And we just kind of was able to, build that up. And Sean was very gracious with the offers. And then what happened was, through all the conversations that was just mentioned with Dale and Sean and Jay, we wound up being able to meet together. And, through an amazing collection of events, we're here right now. So we are so super excited at Falk, not just in terms of the sport analytics, of which, I'm basically a part of, but sport management and everything else in Falk, including our esports that's on the way. Really looking forward for a way to show off the research that we're doing, the students, mainly that we have there, and the wonderful abilities, and be able to have them interact with the wonderful students and faculty at UNLV and everyone. It's really super exciting to me, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Rodney, that's tremendous. And you think about, a lot of people ask the question, I know we all laugh about it a little bit, and Adam, I know you've been in the industry in a lot of respects from the agency side of it, but a lot of people ask, you got UNLV in this hotbed of all this investment and excitement, and you have Syracuse, who's thought to be a bit of a staid private institution, I call it, just south of Canada. And how did two universities come together so quickly and so synergistically and naturally? And I think that's the thing that's most exciting about this. And Dale, again, props to you and to Las Vegas events, and obviously with Steve Hill, with convention visitors and everything you guys have done to embrace this from the onset and to give us that time. But at the end of the day, this thing really hit immediately. And I know probably too early to talk too much about it, but you think about the prestigious program, Jay, you have at UNLV with PGA, and on the golf side of it, and Rodney on the research side. I know there's some exciting research and collaboration already happening in advance of our first event in July.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you can point out to Sean and others is whenever you have an event like this or any type of scenario where people are coming together, it first starts with the people, right? Any great team starts with the people that are involved and having the open-mindedness to want to collaborate because they understand that the end goal is bigger than any personal goals. And the thing that we saw through not only UNLV and the folks we have here, as well as those at Falk and Syracuse, is they've been open arms on both sides and wanting to learn, wanting to collaborate, wanting to utilize each other's resources to, one, educate our students first and foremost, and number two, what is the next big thing that we can have a positive impact on sport, right? And I think that's how you move mountains, is that way. And through the Institute, we're truly a multidisciplinary unit, right? We're probably one of the fastest on our campus to reach Institute status as of December 1st of 2023. And that's really because of the great work of our team, John Mercer, Dr. Nancy Lowe, Bo, Zach Miles, as well as all of our pillar leaders that we have on campus. Chris Kane of the PGA Golf Management Program being one, Bretta Barbanel of our International Gaming Institute, Executive Director, another, and there's so many others that have said, hey, look, let's come together and let's really show how we can make an impact within this new sport ecosystem. So we want people to think beyond just being a coach or a trainer or what's the next, how do we make the next Bo Jackson or if you want to use the Syracuse name, Floyd Little or whoever else. We want to understand esports, sports science, sports betting, military health and sports performance. We want to open that book up to people and get people thinking outside the box. Fan engagement. We've seen already, to Rodney's point he made earlier, we understand fan engagement. You know, we looked at our Golden Knights, our Stanley Cup winning Golden Knights, and people said, wow, why are they playing music and dancing and doing all this stuff before a game? Now you turn on any hockey game and they have those antics going on, if you will. No, that's fan engagement. That's how you sell tickets. You want people to have fun and to be excited and learn a sport that many people used to say, I can't see the puck. Now, no one cares about seeing the puck unless it goes into the net. You're just there to have a good time and have fun. And that's one thing that we can teach people. And that's one thing they're going to see at CCON is you're going to learn, you're going to be excited, and you're going to have a little bit of fun on the same side. And you're going to do it in one of the best cities in the world. And that's what's really exciting about CCON and bringing the East Coast to the West Coast. And our students have the ability to meet some of the thought leaders from the East Coast and vice versa. I think it's a match made in heaven.
No, a great point, Jay. And we were just having discussions yesterday about the timing of the Golden Knights and the tragic occurrence with Route 91 and how a team and a new organization came together with a community and truly bonded, healed, and celebrated life. And I think that's a whole nother story for another time. But sports and entertainment truly are one of the most important ways to move, to connect, and to inspire people and communities. Adam, I know from an agency perspective, whether it's SBJ, MIT Sloan, and a lot of the other programs out there, as we talk a little more about CCON coming up, I'd love to get your insights and really the group's insights of what you see there. They're amazing, obviously, and where some of those opportunities are to touch areas that might need more attention. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sean. What I've seen over about 20 years of my career in the sports industry, and I've been to every single one of these conferences, and they're all great and they all have their value, but they all kind of concentrate on one niche in the industry, whether it's MIT Sloan, which I've worked very closely on personally. That's really sports analytics and data. It's not necessarily sponsorship. It's not necessarily, AI and machine learning necessarily. And then you look at a CAA World Congress of Sports that SBJ runs, very focused on sponsorship, very focused on new trends in the industry, but not as much on entertainment, right? Not as much on music, not as much on, kind of more tangential things, esports, gaming, outside of kind of the traditional stick and ball sports. So what excited me about CCON, and I know we've already mentioned Dave Salinger's name, but he's a bit of a legend on the Hill. Dave was one that introduced me to Sean as well. And I was working at Publicis at the time, biggest agency on the planet globally, running a sports sponsorship measurement program over there, and meeting Sean and hearing about CCON, I got so excited that, I jumped on board and left my 9 to 5 and wanted to help this team do something really unique and different that's never been done before. So that's kind of how I see CCon filling the gaps that all the other great conferences that are out there, don't necessarily fill.
No, Adam, I'm very grateful for your involvement and your insights. And, as you're an entrepreneur now, working on CCon, working on some of their endeavors, very fortunate to have you with us here. And Rodney, I know from the MIT Sloan and some of these, love to have you guys just share a little bit of each of your thoughts on it, if that'd be all right.
Sure. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, no, there's some incredible conferences out there, and always enjoyed MIT Sloan. From the analytics side, obviously the place to go with that, and everything else that was mentioned here too on the sports side. But I think what's really interesting, like what Adam mentioned, is that we can bring together so many different elements, right? And it's not just sports; it's entertainment. So we can be able to figure out how we can branch out, but how we can also learn in sports from things that are going on in other entertainment fields. And what better place in the world to do that than Las Vegas, right, where it brings all of these things together. And I think one thing that really excites me is that by being new and not being so totally focused or tied down, is that what type of innovation can be able to occur here and what things can be investigated that is really going to be maybe outside the box of other places can now fit here in terms of what we're doing, and be able to just come up with different paths and different ways to be able to constantly, reinvent, come up with new ways to be able to look at sports and entertainment. So I think that bringing it all together and having it, at the time of year that it is in Las Vegas is going to create so many opportunities and possibilities. It's really exciting to me.
Yeah, thank you, Ronnie. And by the way, I know you're not a boisterous gentleman, but as I think about our undergrad and our grad students in some of these competitions in the sports and analytics side of it, I think we've done pretty well here lately, haven't we?
Yes, no, our students are just our greatest asset, and they're just wonderful in terms of being able to be willing to compete and put themselves out there, but also the success they've had has just been tremendous. And, all, respect and honor to them and everything that they've been able to do. And again, so much of this is just wanting to be able to show off what the students can do. And in conversations with Jay and people at UNLV, it's the same. It's a matter of how can we be able to show off to the world what these students are doing, because they are our future. Right? These are the people that are going to be our future leaders, and you can get a glimpse of what they have in store at CCon.
Well, Michigan showed off last night. I think they're the national championships. That means they won first place. Didn't we get a few of those, Rodney? I'm baiting you here. You're going to brag a little bit.
No, we've had some great success in terms of the competitions, whether it's student paper competitions or what's happening with gets put on with Baylor in terms of their sports analytics championship. So we've just collected a great group of students that really have the fortitude also to be able to go out there and compete and be willing to put themselves on the line. And I couldn't be more proud of them.
Well, I'd love to hear some more from you, Jay and Dale, but I will say there was some first place, some top first, second place finishes nationwide, and some of those were undergrads against grad students. So congratulations to our amazing students and their mentorship that allowed this to happen. But Jay, Dale, any thoughts you might have? I know we want to move on to a few other topics here after this.
Yeah, well, first, going to these conferences and being in the business 30 years now, in terms of sometimes you would go one, every other year, every, 3 years. Your ticket, weren't doing these conferences every single year because you felt like you were a little bit getting the same information or seeing the same people there. I think developing a new conference in Las Vegas during that time of year is going to be a great experience for our visitors coming in. But also the biggest thing I love to preach is just people. You got to get out. You got to connect. You got to shake some hands and really connect. And I think our city does that better than anything. And it's great to see our convention business so strong out here. But I think Vegas is that spot. We got the best venues built in the country or in the world, some of these things that we have. But the idea of the people, it's a reason to come, reason to shake a hand. When I was starting out in the business, we all thought we knew what we were doing, but the reality is you just got to connect and find the right opportunity and then take it, and then your career goes from there. But a lot of it's the opportunity. Don't try and figure out exactly what you're going to do. What you're going to do is where the opportunity presents itself.
Right. Well, you guys have done such a great job there. Thank you, Dale. Jay, any last thoughts on the conference and differentiations, or some thoughts from the UNLV side of the world?
Absolutely. I think one of the things too is, we talk about taking those opportunities and collaborating. During that time of the year, we have a special event, which is called NBA Summer League. And so to be able to partner with them as well, where we had our initial introductory conference to CCon was on the grand stage, NBA Summer League. They're great partners, and we'll continue to find those partners like Las Vegas Events and others that support what we're doing here and understand it's not about how do we compete against any other conference, but how are we different? How do we add value to the student experience, the professional experience, the corporation experience? What we like to say is education plus collaboration equals deal making. And CCon wants to really focus on that deal making. And deal making is going to be different for a student and different from an organization or institution, as well as an industry partner. And we want to make sure that we check all those boxes as we move forward. One of the things we talk about with our students and through our intercollegiate and professional sports management program, acronym IPSM, led by Dr. Nancy Lowe, is our students get the ability to, not saying this doesn't happen in other places, but because of how our ecosystem is set up here within sports, we have students that have had internships with the Raiders, the Knights, the Aces, UFC, Las Vegas Events, and they've done that throughout their whole student career at Las Vegas. And that's happened in the last 2 years. You're not going to find too many students that are going to have a resume like that. And so we need to give them the opportunity to meet our industry partners and those outside of just our city or within our city. And CCon's going to offer that opportunity. And that's going to be a different type of deal making for our students, as well as the industry partners that want to be involved. So CCon is going to be something for everyone at CCon. And That's something I'm really excited about.
No, that's great, Jay. And I'm sure everybody's saying, okay, CCon, where is it? What is it? What are the dates? Our inaugural kickoff, we made our announcement with Summer League NBA last July in Las Vegas. So it was very exciting. We are going to be hosting our first CCon event at Virgin Hotel here in Las Vegas, July 16th and 17th. Opening night will actually be the 15th for our reception. As you look at the event, we're going to have a very dynamic innovation lab with great presentations, labs with presenters from some of the top innovators in the sports entertainment world, and then some of the up-and-coming companies that we think deserve that opportunity to showcase their skills and their needs as they move towards the next level of their business development. From a speaker perspective, we have approximately 75 speakers right now. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a great mix of our talented, amazing faculty at UNLV and at Syracuse University and via Falk College. We have an advisory board that is an incredibly talented and accomplished group that are on that speaking panel as well. If you'd like to get more information about the event, it's sei-con.org. As you look at registration, we do have an early bird registration up at $650 for registration fee. And for the first 500, there's going to be your breakfast and lunch served and 2 drink tickets each evening for our wrap parties that are going to be live entertainment in the theater at Virgin Hotels, an amazing concert venue, a lot of hospitality amenities. So very excited about that. I think as you look at some of the feature speakers and topics, we are going to be talking about the business of bowl games. We're going to be talking about mental health and wellness, obviously a big topic in the scheme of sports and entertainment. A very diverse range of different programs coming up. Very excited about it. We think it's going to be a blast. I think as you're looking at the people who are going to be coming, it is your educators. We will be endowing and supporting a good representation from our students because, again, it is about them in a big way also. We're going to be looking at some certification programs for them tied in with NBA Summer League. Obviously, we've got an amazing campus right across the street called UNLV that we'll be looking to program as well. But really excited about the event. We're also from the Syracuse side and working with UNLV, talking about bringing our former athlete alumni out as well to do some gatherings and some team building and some reconnecting around those elements as well. As you look at today's world, everything really is about connectivity, supporting those that have come through those doors, and then how can they best support our current and our future students and continue to support our amazing faculty. As we have a vision for the event, we're also looking at our event, which will happen in New York City, where we'll be inviting Las Vegas to come see what the big city is about back east. We've got a very targeted event that'll be happening in Washington, D.C. around advocacy, public-private sector finance, and some important topics to really shape thought and future investment as I think our diverse group of talents can do. But really, his last thoughts, Jay. Anything you want to add as we close out here? Anything I'm missing?
No, I think you nailed everything as far as giving the information about CCON. I think the last thing I just want to say is I'm very appreciative of all those that are on this call today and on this podcast, especially Dale. Thank you for being the connector to these great folks and those of Syracuse, and continue to be a strong advocate of not only the city of Las Vegas, but Las Vegas events. It just overall just been a stand-up guy. So really appreciate that. And for those that are listening, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the community support of Las Vegas events, LVGEA, UFC, the Raiders, the Golden Knights, obviously our respectable universities, and just want to say thank you as we continue to have try to have an outstanding 2024. So,
thank you, Jay. Rodney, anything from your end?
No, just really want to echo what Jay said there. Thanks to Dale for everything that he has done, bringing this all together. And it's been great to be able to meet and interact with Jay and everyone at UNLV. It's just been, the top of the line in terms of class and just in terms of, organization and supporting each other. It's really been an amazing experience, and cannot wait to be able to see how everything turns out come July.
Thank you, Rodney. Adam, from our SU agency side of the world, anything we're missing here? Anything you want to add?
No, I think we're filling in the gaps that we're missing historically. So I'm incredibly excited about the inaugural CCON coming up this July, and I encourage all our guests to please follow us on social media as well. I have to give our plug there, Sean. So follow us on LinkedIn, please, and follow us on X, on Instagram, and on YouTube. We're putting out some compelling content starting with these podcasts, and just excited to get the industry to rally around CCON.
No, really appreciate it. And Dale, I'm going to let you have the last word here. But one thing I want to just let everybody know, there are going to be some amazing keynotes, and we're going to hold that back. We'll be announcing those as we move ahead. But I think we're going to have some great keynotes, exciting topics, and shaping appropriate to what Vegas has to offer. Dale, any last thoughts from your side?
Yeah, really just congratulations to this group right here, and Sean for taking the heavy lift with Circle, putting this whole thing together. Here we are in 2024, really excited for the next couple of months leading into the first CCON. So glad to be a part of it and play a role in this. But, Sean and your team, the heavy lift, and what you and Jay, everyone working together, excited for 2024.
No, thank you very much. And listen, a little bit of a teaser here. Our next podcast is going to be an exciting topic as you think about Las Vegas and being the sports, we're going to say the sports entertainment capital of the world. And you think about college sports powerhouse city. We're going to be bringing a panel together next week to really talk about what that means and challenge, I guess, what the norms are in today's college landscape, but it's college sports landscape. But as you know, with NIL and the transfer portal and just everything that goes on, there is no normal anymore. So this new normal opens up some opportunities to shift paradigms, and we're going to challenge and explore that next week. And we thank you for joining us. Adam, thank you for hosting this kickoff. And again, CCON, SCI-CON.org. Love for you to follow and learn more about us, and love to have you register and be there with us. We think it's going to be a blast and be very informative and productive. All right, Adam.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Looking forward to bringing more fresh content to you next week. Have a great one.